So the Royal Rumble came and went, and the road to WrestleMania began last night, and we're gonna give you our Royal Rumble reaction. I'm sure you heard a lot of it after the Rumble was over last night from other podcasts, but we are gonna give you the non-tribalism reaction, and we're gonna be talking about Charlotte Flair's return, the some of the storyline that probably came out of the men's Royal Rumble, plus the Cody Rhodes and the Kevin Owens crazy ladder match. We're going to be talking about that and much more on the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.
This is the moment we've all been waiting for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
So welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, episode 230, and we're going to give you our reaction from the Royal Rumble that happened last night. The road to WrestleMania began last night, and you would think that, things will go right straight quick, and we're going to get all these storylines and whatnot, but WWE once again put the Women's Royal Rumble first. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Women's Royal Rumble last night was not all that. And I'm going to tell you that exactly my thoughts on it, because honestly, the Royal Rumble for the women's part started off very, very slow. I stood there waiting for, certain individuals to show up and whatnot. And I kept waiting and waiting. And they even had what I don't understand was B-Fab from the group that used to be Hit Row, and I guess she's probably part still of the Street Profit, show up in the ring, and I was like, wait a minute, B-Fab is still around? Now she's wrestling? And what I saw from her was not something that I would like to see on TV. I would have turned my TV off if I would have saw this woman wrestle, to be honest. But she was in the Rumble. So it was crazy, because it started off with Liv Morgan, and I believe was Roxanne Perez. Roxanne Perez, let me tell you something. I've been watching this woman since her Ring of Honor days, known as Roxy. She was the first Ring of Honor Women's Champion and whatnot. And I was very impressed when I first saw her ever wrestling. And then, now that where she's become an NXT, which I was kind of worried when she went to NXT, because I'm like, they're not gonna do much for her. But this woman has done great things at age, I believe she's 23 only, and she's done very well. And last night at the Rumble, man, she showed what she's all about. And she stood till the end and whatnot. She broke the record for the longest female wrestler in a Rumble and whatnot. And she's gonna do great in the main roster, because it looks like that she's going to be in the main roster sooner or later. And I know she has another match for the NXT Championship with Julia coming up, so I know for a fact she did very well. Also, what I saw was Jordynne Grace finally made her debut in WWE. I guess I don't know if you want to call it that, because now she's an official WWE star, and she made her second debut on the Royal Rumble, and she hit as Death Valley Driver on Piper Niven, which was ridiculous, because when she hit that Death Valley Driver, she landed on her feet. It was a feat that you can, Piper Niven is a big girl, and this woman pulled her over her shoulder, did the Death Valley Driver and whatnot, and landed on her feet. Now, what I get from Jordynne Grace coming in, I think Jordynne Grace automatically may start a program with Bianca Belair, because you saw she went out to Naomi in the middle of the ring. They hugged each other. Now Naomi is the tag team partner of Bianca Belair. I think there's going to be a bigger storyline here, and I think from what I'm seeing, I think Bianca Belair is going to be she's going to change to a rule breaker. She's going to turn to a heel. I see that coming and whatnot, because she then grabbed Jordynne Grace by the hair and looked at Naomi like, what are you doing, hugging up on her and whatnot. So that's example number one there and whatnot. Remember, Jade Cargill is supposed to be coming back. Now, is Naomi was part of taking out Jade Cargill? That's still up in the air. We don't know if Cargill is really hurt and when she's coming back, because Naomi took her place as a tag team champ with Bianca Belair. But what I saw last night, and remember, there was another thing that happened in the tag team match last night, which I'm going to bring up when I get to it. So I'm seeing probably Jordan Grace going at it with Bianca Belair, and that's going to be definitely a good match, and I won't mind seeing it. One return that really, really caught me off guard, because I was on the online yesterday, and I saw a report that Alexa Bliss was pretty much far away as far as her and WWE coming to a agreement, something about the contract. I read that, and I was like, is Alexa Bliss ever coming back? I mean, I know she was pregnant, but when reports come around that Alexa Bliss and WWE were apart, I'm like, come on. And then it came from Dave Meltzer and Wrestling Observer. So, you can't believe nothing when it comes to the Wrestling Observer, because they say, oh, she's far apart from having some type of deal with WWE, and she showed up last night, and she got a big pop on her return, and she came back with I didn't see the stuff she had on, but according to report was that she was doing something for Bray Wyatt, as I guess something said in her gear. I didn't get it, but she got a great pop last night as far as her coming in, and she did very well. I mean, and whatnot. So that was cool. Stephanie Vaquel and Julia made their Rumble debut. I mean, as hard as for me to watch Julia and Stephanie Vaquel in a WWE ring, because I'm a big fan of both of them, they doing very well. I mean, Julia now is the NXT champion. I thought they would give the belt first to Stephanie Vaquel, but Stephanie Vaquel and Julia are going to do great and whatnot. They were in there. It was good. Then what we all expected, and I already knew this was going to happen, and many of you may get mad. Most of you may say, oh, I'm a WWE hater, or she's the greatest woman wrestler in WWE history. Charlotte Flair showed up. And once I saw Charlotte, and not only that, before this Rumble even was, happened, I already knew that she was going to show up. There was a promo this week of Charlotte Flair, and I said, Charlotte Flair's coming back. She's winning the whole shit. Not only did she show up, but she went in the ring and she made, and this is just my opinion, most of you may not agree, she made the division look bad. She was taking out everybody. She was doing all these moves and all that. And I'm like, are you serious? This is what you do? You bring her back and then you go and make her look bad? Make the not look her bad, but make the division look bad? She was beating everybody up. It wasn't until like they ganged up on her that she slowed down. And I was like, well, I saw this shit coming a mile away. So, I wasn't crazy about it. But, but then, WWE again does shit that I'm like with the nostalgia bullshit. They brought in Trish Stratus. I don't know why they brought Trish Stratus. What's the purpose of bringing in girls like Trish Stratus? They're not going to win. Why are you bringing for nostalgia? When the F is WWE going to stop this shit? Still living and reliving the damn Attitude Era. And what is it? She needed a paycheck? She needed money? That she needed to show up at the Rumble? What? Why? And then the other one that showed up. They really, I was like, really, they went from the Trish Stratus era to the Diva era. And you would think they probably would have been April, CM Punk's wife, to come and make her debut. No, we had Nikki Bella. The same woman that got let go by WWE and was talking crap about WWE showed up at the Rumble and whatnot. And I'm like, why? Why is this woman even in my TV? Why? No one cares about Nikki Bella. Maybe the little girls that probably grew up watching her. Nobody cares about Nikki Bella. So again, We had B-Fab in the Rumble. We had Trish Stratus in the Rumble, and we had Nikki Bella. Why? But you have a 3 women short that you couldn't bring in somebody else. This was ridiculous, very ridiculous. So I didn't understand that, but at the end, of course, what I say, this was already predictable, and since we all know someone plays politics behind the scenes, Charlotte Flair wins the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, was there any storyline built for this? No. The only thing I saw through this whole Women's Rumble was the fact that Bianca Belair may turn heel and may have a feud with Jordynne Grace. Because everything else, there was no other storyline behind that. None. You know what I'm saying? Nothing was built there. So I was like, okay. So she wins. Who she's going after? Are we going to see another Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte match? Something happened like 2 years ago, which I felt that in 2023, that was the match of the year. It was Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania. I think it was 39. So are we going to see that again? So my thing is, we could see that. Or who's the Women's SmackDown now? And I forgot who the hell is the Women's SmackDown champion over there. But Tiffany Stratton. Could we see a Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair? I mean, and put it this way: if Tiffany Stratton faces Charlotte Flair, we know that Tiffany's losing the belt, unless they're gonna have her pin Charlotte so she could get more exposure. Because Tiffany Stratton just got the belt, so I won't see her. We're probably gonna see another match between Rhea Ripley and Charlotte Flair, and this one Flair will probably beat Rhea Ripley for the belt. And then what's the point of giving the belt to Rhea Ripley? So either way, one woman is going to end up losing because Charlotte plays politics behind the scene. So, anybody can tell me whatever they want, but that's the way it is. Then we saw the Motor City Machine Gun versus DIY. This was a pretty good match. The only thing I didn't understand was, I'm not going to get into the whole concept of the match. The match was pretty good between these two teams. I mean, it's been a while when I've seen a tag team match that was worth watching in WWE. But this was a pretty good match. The only thing I didn't understand, if it's going to be a 2 out of 3 falls, why ruin the last match, the deciding match, by outside interference? The Street Profits showed up. And the Street Profits ended up costing the Motor City Machine Gun the tag team match and whatnot. And then the announcing team said, the DIY, I guess, asked them to interfere or something. It didn't make no sense. But then the Motor City Machine Gun gets pinned, DIY retains, and then the Street Profits ends up beating up DIY with pieces of how you call it, of the crutches. And I mean, I was like, okay, so Street Profits, are they heel or they not heel? Because that left us like kind of confused. Like, why? What happened here? So now, are we gonna see now in WrestleMania or at the Elimination Chamber? Are we gonna see a 3-way for the woman for the tag team titles? I said women's. I don't know why, but I said women's. 3. We live, so shit happens anyway. So that is my question. Like, are we gonna see a 3-way? Because WWE does that. They like, and there's not a lot of tag teams when you really think about it in the WWE. Their division is not it's not any better than AEW's, to be honest. AEW at least got more tag teams and they use them, but this is I think sometimes when they do this 3-ways is I find it lazy booking, and that goes to AEW too. Let's have a 1-on-1. Why? You're gonna have outside interference now. You're gonna have to have the Motor City Machine Gun go after the Street Profits, and then the winner of that gets a title shot. But that's not what we're gonna see. We're gonna end up seeing a 3-way with the titles on the line. So that's what I got from that tag team match. It was pretty good. I mean, DIY, they still good. I mean, I remember watching them at NXT. They still good. Ciampa and Gargano are still there. So, the WWE Undisputed World Title match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. This was crazy. The bumps these guys got. It was ridiculous. I mean, at one point we saw Cody Rhodes land on top of a small ladder. I mean, there was no way he could protect himself. No way at all. Because the way he landed. Same thing with Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens got backdrop and landed to the part of the ladder, the top part, and his back hit right on that area. I was like, these guys are gonna come out all hurt. And the worst one was the one that Kevin Owens does. He does like a driver from the top of the ropes. He did it on Cody on the ladders were laying on top. One of the ladders was laying on top of the rope, and when he did it, Cody Rhodes landed right on his back on the ladder, and then Kevin hit the back of his head. I mean, I was like, even then the officials, doctors came in because Kevin Owens got hit hard with that. And I don't think he ever recuperated from that, because then he tries to do a package power driver on Cody on top of the announcing table. Cody then reversed it, and there was another ladder from the ring to the announcing table, and he grabs Kevin Owens, and he Alabama slams him right through the ladder. And Cody wins it. He goes up in there and wins the match. This is one of the matches that it was brutal. I have not seen a WWE match like this in a long time. Besides probably the last time I saw something like that was the steel cage between Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. I think it was SummerSlam this past summer. This was crazy. I mean, Kevin Owens came out of it bleeding. It looked like he was hurt. Sami Zayn came out when Kevin Owens got hurt. So this, I think, was the first time. And then he came out after the match. Now, I think what we're getting out of this is now Sami Zayn is going to look at Cody differently. He's not going to be his friend, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We'll see about that. But I think that's probably going to be Cody's next match, him and Sami Zayn. So we're gonna see what happens with that. They're probably going to have a face off sometime in maybe at the Elimination Chamber. It could start off this Friday. So anything can happen. So, but this was a crazy match, and I give this match from 1 to 5. I give this a 4.5. It just was brutal. Reports are saying that Cody is hurt. This came from Wrestle Talk that he's hurt, and they were gonna find out this Thursday. But I mean, is he gonna be out from the WrestleMania road to WrestleMania where he's not gonna wrestle because he's gotta heal his bruises, whatever? But I believe Kevin Owens got the worst out of all this. So, we'll see, because that match was brutal, was very brutal. And I don't know, but just it lived to the hype, to put it that way. I think this was match of the night, to be honest. The Cody Kevin Owens match was match of the night and whatnot. So and before I continue, the Women's Royal Rumble, the MVP of the Women's Royal Rumble was Roxanne Perez. The girl was there for almost an hour. She broke the record. So that's my take on that. But the Cody and Kevin Owens match was the match of the night, and it was crazy. So now we move on to the Royal Rumble, the Men's Royal Rumble. The Men's Royal Rumble started off with Rey Mysterio coming in number 1, and at number 2 we had Penta. Now, this was a class. This was not a classic, but this was like a dream match, because a couple of weeks ago when I talked about Penta making his debut at WWE, the first thing I said that he should be the one who's going to take over Rey Mysterio once Mysterio retires. And WWE gave it to us already, a face-off, kind of a face-off. They went at it, nothing much, but they shook hands first, whatever. But at one point in the match, Penta got thrown over the rope, and he tried to hold on to the ropes, to the top rope. But his feet, both of his feet, hit the ground. The announce team was like, no, both feet got to hit the ground. But we knew that both feet hit the ground. That was a botch. So Penta botch on that one. And I've been noticing that a lot of these pay-per-views, there's always somebody botching. And this one was a botch. And you can't blame Penta on it. Either he was supposed to do something or he wasn't being thrown over the ropes. But he survived. He stood there for, like, I believe, 42 minutes in the ring, if I'm correct. Penta lasted 42 minutes in there, but he was in there with a lot of wrestlers, and it was cool. Then, and like I said, I was watching, I was waiting, waiting for see who's going to show up, who's going to be. All of a sudden, WWE again does what they do. They always trying to put somebody who's not a wrestler at these damn men Royal Rumble. They put some guy there called Speed. I never heard of him. Don't care about him. I asked myself, why the hell was he in the ring? But first of all, Tozawa was supposed to come out. And he got attacked from behind. I don't remember who attacked him from behind, but he got attacked from behind. They took him to the back. Cameras show him sitting down by where the how you call it, by the monkey room, whatever they call that, the gorilla area. And Triple H says, so somebody's got to replace him, blah blah. And I was like, wait, since when they do this? There's been wrestlers got attacked, never got replaced. All the time I was replacing him. So I'm thinking, oh, we're gonna have, a big name show up. But Speed? Are you kidding me? I was like, come on. And I'm glad that he came in, he shook hands with Braun Breaker, and why that people going crazy, and he's jumping. And Braun Breaker decided, oh, I'm going to break his ass in half. And he speared him out of his freaking sneakers and whatnot. Then Braun Breaker grabs him, picks him up over his head, throws him over the rope because supposedly him and Breaker threw out Otis. And he throws Speed on top of Otis. Otis catches him, and then he pretty much threw him over his head, and he landed in the desk and whatnot. So right there, I was like, this is WWE for you. They always do this. Why are you bringing a freaking person who's not a wrestler? I never heard of this guy. Or maybe people who are into social media, know Twitter. I never heard of it. I was like, why is he in the ring? That's number one. So that was one. And then WWE, the reports at WWE, they have this thing with TNA wrestling, and they got a partnership, whatever. And Joe Henry made his debut at the Royal Rumble with the TNA belt around his waist. And how did that go? That didn't go very well, because after that, pretty much, I think, I think Jacob Fatu got rid of him, threw him out. He didn't last that long. He lasted probably 5-10 minutes and whatnot. People were going crazy over him, and I was like, why is this guy here? Pretty much, WWE made the TNA champion look bad. And people could disagree with me, whatever, but in my view, he looked bad. He's the TNA champion. He should be there longer than what he lasted last night. Okay? I think, I don't remember, I think it was Roman Reigns, I think. Somebody threw him out that I was like, wow. They brought in the TNA world champion into the Rumble only to last probably 5-10 minutes and then throw his ass out. Did somebody explain that one to me? You know what I'm saying? Why would you throw the TNA world champion out so quick?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
No, I know what I'm talking about. They threw his ass out in 10 minutes. That's how long he lasted. So, not crazy. Matter of fact, like I got in my notes here, Roman Reigns, he made Henry look like a fool. You know what I'm saying? And so it was Roman Reigns. So they took the main guy, the face of the company, grabbed the TNA world champion and threw him out. Speared him and whatnot. He speared him. And then Braun Breaker came out of nowhere and speared the bricks out of Roman Reigns, which called me, of course, surprise, because now everybody's using a spear now in WWE. Everybody's using a spear. But Roman Reigns came out and, took care of Henry. Braun Breaker speared the hell out of Roman Reigns, but then Roman Reigns gets up and throws him out. No selling of the spear by Roman Reigns. None whatsoever. Okay. So then after that, like I said, Penta got eliminated by, I believe it was Roman. He lasted 42 minutes. Then we had a classic confrontation. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, we had Cena, John Cena and Roman Reigns have a face-off. Then CM Punk came out, and there was a three-way face-off. Then Seth Rollins came out and whatnot. So this was like, oh wow, this is great. This was like the best part of the men's rumble. This 4-man face off, right? And then after that they start going at it. And then another situation that looked like it may be that I feel I'm gonna tell the storylines after I finish doing the men's rumble. Jey Uso accidentally kicked Sami Zayn and cost them the rumble. Now remember, these guys are supposed to be bloodline partners and whatnot. He got kicked in the face by super kick, actually, by Jey Uso and whatnot. Then Damian Priest, who was in the rumble again, cost Drew McIntyre another thing, and that was the rumble. He threw out Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre drew 17. This is the second time in 4 or 5 years that he drew number 17. When last time he drew 17, he won the rumble when he threw out Brock Lesnar. So, but this time Drew McIntyre got thrown out by Damian Priest. There was a face-off between Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. They ended up arguing with each other at the Rumble, but then they started going at it. Then CM Punk took advantage of that and eliminated Rollins and Reigns, but then Punk gets eliminated by Logan Paul. Now, here's the big storyline which I feel is going to happen, because after that, Roman Reigns is arguing with CM Punk outside while he's on the floor. Seth Rollins coming over and curb stomps Roman Reigns. And then he goes out to Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman said, why are you doing this? And whatnot. Then he decided to curb stomp again Roman Reigns on the steps. While CM Punk is trying to get to Seth Rollins, because they were going at it also. So this was just chaos outside the ring and whatnot. So it was crazy. But at the end, we had Jey Uso and John Cena, which I said most likely I thought Cena was going to win it, because they want Cena to win the 17 world title. Well, the best way for him to win is to win the Rumble and beat the probably Gunther for the world title. I don't see him going after Cody Rhodes. And sure enough, there was a shocker. And that was Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble and whatnot, and winning the whole thing. Now, here's my thing where I feel that we're going to get some storylines here. Now, because of what happened with, first of all, let me start with the Jey Uso, him winning it. I could see Sami Zayn being jealous or whatever and turning on Jey Uso. That could turn to the fact that he's going to turn heel, and then Sami Zayn might go after Cody and whatnot because of what happened with Kevin Owens. That might be a possibility storyline there, probably leading to the Elimination Chamber, maybe to WrestleMania. Then we have the Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and the CM Punk situation. The CM Punk and Seth Rollins match is, the feud is not over. But now Seth Rollins maybe turn heel again, because remember, Roman Reigns right now is the very most popular guy in the WWE right now and whatnot. And we could see Seth Rollins again turning heel and having this feud with Roman Reigns, right? Now, the crazy part about all this is there's a one thing that's involved in all this. Because you got CM Punk, Seth Rollins, and Roman Reigns. Paul Heyman owns a favor to CM Punk. Now, we don't know what's that favor, because I thought it was going to get revealed last night, but it didn't get revealed. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens if Roman Reigns shows up at Monday Night Raw and whatnot and confronts Seth Rollins, or we're still going to have this feud between CM Punk and Seth Rollins, and this whole thing, this favor that CM Punk is being owed to by Paul Heyman gets revealed sometime before the Elimination Chamber. So there's a lot of things coming up. So the men's Royal Rumble was way better than the women's, because they were storyline. At least 2 storylines came out of this. And then to top of it, Jey Uso shocking the wrestling were winning the Royal Rumble for him to to main event WrestleMania. Now, it's not just a nickname or little catchphrase, main event Jey Uso. Now he's going to main event at WrestleMania. The question is who he's going to go after, and I have a feeling he's going after Gunther. Now, what don't make no sense is I think that this guy wrestled twice for the world title. So this is the third time. Is Jey Uso going to win the world title at WrestleMania? And we will see, because right now he most likely he's going to face Gunther again. Gunther has beat him twice already. If I'm right, he beat him in Saturday Night main event and whatnot. So, but the Rumble was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The event itself was pretty good. The women's Royal Rumble could have done better as far as storyline wise, because there weren't too much storyline. Only Charlotte wins. I think that was the only negative part. We knew it was predictable. As far as Triple H saying, "Oh, sometimes it's good to be predictable," no, it's not good to be predictable, because then that turns off fans. And the fact that WWE is known for this also, lying about attendance. They say they had over 70,000 at Lucas Oil Stadium, and when in reality they were 67,000, because it was on the bottom part during the scrum or whatever, the press conference or whatever. So TV production kind of made Triple H look bad, because he said, "Oh, we got over 70,000," but then in the bottom say 67,000. So it's not over 70. But overall, the pay-per-view was pretty good. It wasn't bad. It just, the women's Rumble was boring in the beginning. It was nothing really popping until Jordynne Grace showed up, Alexa Bliss, and the Inedible. And that was the Charlotte Flair showing up. She was having wardrobe problems coming into the ring. And I was not happy to see this woman, because I know for a fact when it comes to her, it's never good, because she's going to end up playing politics in the back, and somebody's losing the title. Somebody's losing to her at WrestleMania. And most likely, Rhea Ripley probably is going to end up wrestling her again the third time. And we'll see. Because their match was pretty good the last time. They one-on-one match. So this will be their third time facing each other if they do wrestle and whatnot. So, but that, let me know what you guys think of the whole Royal Rumble. Let me know what you think. Do you agree with some of my analysis, some of my review on it? Let me know. Let me know, because I will gladly like to read what you think of this Royal Rumble and whatnot, and what's going to happen probably in the future. So, but again, guys, if you want to follow me on my social platforms. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, the X, and YouTube. Of course, the YouTube channel. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We just hit the 400 mark of subscribers. We're trying to get to 500. Help us get to 500. I'll gladly appreciate it. Also, check out our podcast store, the t-shirts, the hats, the hoodie. Go to tcwr.veryimpressive.com. That's tcwr.veryimpressive.com. So let me know what you guys think about this and whatnot, because that Rumble, it was pretty good. And there were some botches with Penta touching his feet on the ground. He should have been eliminated, but they didn't, because they knew they kind of messed up and whatnot. So, but that is it for me, guys. I will see you guys next week with more of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report.